Orientation! What is normal? Stop flowing!
10 degrees
Stop
power.
flowing! 2,000 in the group!
Get an EBS, nice man, now! Move yourself!
I have the ship half ahead, revolution 40.
The medical party!
Slowing down, in control.
Get boots on somebody.
Stand by to surface.
That was an exercise, but the next time it could be for real. HMS Superb. They call her Super B. Her commanding officer is John Humphreys.
What makes us special? Everything. We're what the great British viewing public knows as a hunter-killer. Nuclear-powered, 4,200 tons, 125 on board at a maximum, although there are 137 on the books. Unlimited in endurance, really, apart from food. And typically we're capable of 90 days as a matter of routine away at sea.
Stand by the fire. 10. 9.
Conventionally armed. We are traditionally a deep water submarine killer by profession. We are also involved in intelligence collection. We can be put up threat, remaining covert, to give what's known as indications and warnings back to our political masters. We work with special forces. We sneak up on you in the dark and deliver our package and then sneak away again. Not that we're sneaky, of course.
Ever since it was formed, the Submarine Service has attracted a special type of sailor. They're quite proud of the fact that they were once dismissed, even by the Admiralty in 1902, as underhand, unfair and damned un-English. Over the next 6 weeks, we shall follow this special breed and the submarine they serve. Without doubt, it takes a particular type of person to be a submariner and a special type of person to be a submariner's wife. Away from home for months at a time and with no way of keeping in contact with that home and any problems that may arise. It's a way of life most of us would find untenable. But what do we know of a submariner's life while at or under the sea? According to Dave, Reggie Perrin, it's not like the movies.
First of all, no, we have never been attacked by a giant squid, as we see on TV programmes. Well, I think as yourself, when you're walking through the submarine, you don't hear the ping, ping, ping like as shown on TV films. That's all gone nowadays. We do have the ability to do it, but we don't. When you're younger, it's easier, you're away. It's more of an adventure when you're younger. But when you get older, you're married, you have children, you do tend to worry about your family.
We met when I was 21, and we met through my friend who'd gone on holiday to Crete. If you like somebody, you don't think about what their job is and whether you can cope with it or not. You just take it as it comes. It's just something that you just have to get on with, really. You haven't really got any choice in the matter. You just get on with it. A lot of people say to me, oh, I don't know how you cope, and that I cope really well in that. But to me, I just feel that it's just sort of going from day to day. You just have to get on with it.
The loved ones may argue that their lot is harder than the men's. It's the constant uncertainty. But Phil Doc McGonagall had no uncertainty about joining what is known as the trade.
When I was in training, it was a time where they'd been short of MAs and they were short in a few places, and it was either submarines or Royal Marines. So I was living in a ditch. It's not my way of earning a living. So I opted for submarines, and plus my brother was in submarines, he was a PMA in submarines. So I had an idea of what the job entailed. So there was that, and also I would get very seasick. So it's best to be under the water than on top of it in a ship or something, so that's why I came to submarines.
Phil lives in the Devon countryside with his wife of 5 years, Kate. The couple want children, but being based at Faslane in Scotland and long tours at sea aren't helpful. The time at home is precious, and for more reasons than just the opportunity to be together.
It's lovely to have space because the submarine is very an enclosed environment. And one of the problems that a lot of people don't think about, I suppose, is your vision, because you're never used to looking more than 20 feet. Once you've been at sea for a while, you get back and your distance vision is awful. You have to be careful when you're driving and things, because you've got no, you can't judge the distance at all. But the space, yeah, I mean, I like it. We live up here, it's nice and open. We go out with the dog and stuff. I just utilise the space I've got by leaving things everywhere, which doesn't go down too well.
The main thing is really the smell. They do everything that they have, everything that they own, it just smells of diesel oil and just the submarine. And you're so used to being on your own. I mean, apart from that, I mean, that's easy, you just throw things in the washing machine. But apart from that, really, I'm so used to being on my own, having no children or just the animals to look after, that I find it's very difficult. He sort of interrupts my routines and my way of living. And actually, it's quite hard to begin with. If it's just a short period, then you slot back into your own little ways quite easily. But if he's been away for a substantial period of time, then you sort of resent him, really, because he's... I mean, not that I do much or I go places particularly, but just my own little ways of times of eating and going to bed and things like that, and he just sort of interrupts it. But that only lasts a day or so, and then once that happens, you just slot back into the same old routine. Nothing changes. It's as if he's never been away after a sort of 4 or 5 days.
Keith Asprey lives in Plymouth.
Trying to sell it to somebody, I don't think you'd be able to sell it to anybody, because we breathe artificial air, we're in artificial light, we don't get any sun. It's hard work, but I think it's the friendship, that because everybody works for everybody else. We work as a team and everyone relies on each other, because there's a lot of things can go wrong in submarines, and we all have to have a certain idea of how to react to any sort of an emergency, for instance.
Keith met his wife Sherry 7 years ago. She was only 20 and knew little of the life of a service wife. She admits that she sometimes gets jealous of the friendships that develop among crewmates. A submarine could be a cruel mistress.
There has been a few times, isn't there, where I've been sort of like crying on the phone to him and everything else, but I do hold it back because I know that he doesn't like to see me getting upset, and it's not fair on him if I am there sort of like crying my eyes out on the phone. So I have to be strong for Keith, really, because it's not going to be fair on him if he's going to sea for like 2.5 months or something, knowing that I'm in a right state back home. So I've got to let him know that I'm okay and that I'm going to be able to manage on my own, really.
It doesn't get any easier with time. Coxswain Paul Kennel and Michelle have been married for 22 years and live in Gosport. If the wives are worried about sharing their anxieties to their men, then the men equally have to hide their feelings.
It's, if anything happens, I think, is the main thing. Michelle's had problems before. You know, I've been away on a submarine before when Michelle's had a miscarriage at home and had to deal with that all on her own, and other things happen. And, you know, you're just hoping that something major doesn't occur while you're away on a submarine, and not probably too bad during a workup stage or the sea trial phase straight after refit, but once you go on an operation, you know that the boat's not going to surface and get you off, and you probably wouldn't be told until the end of it anyway.
All right, then. Bye then. Bye.
We don't have any contact at all, we don't get any mail or anything, so it's just a case of having to shut it off and think, well, you know, everything will hopefully be all right, and when you get back, you know, quick phone call and make sure that it is.
Superb is one of Britain's hunter-killer class submarines. When she slips away from her base, she can stay at sea undetected for 90 days or even longer, to seek and, if the order is given, to destroy enemy ships and submarines. This story begins in the shadow of the Forth Rail Bridge and the cold, glassy waters that lead Superb into Rosyth Dockyard. She may be one of the most powerful warships in the world, but at 25 years of age, she's considered an old lady. Super B is coming to the end of a 3.5-year, £200 million refit. The figures involved are awesome. 24,000 items have been checked and surveyed, 14,000 items overhauled, 25,000 litres of paint and 345,000 nuts, bolts and washers have been replaced, along with 136,000 kilometres of cable. The nuclear power plant and propulsion systems have been overhauled and refitted. Weapon systems have been upgraded. 2 million man-hours to turn the 25-year-old into an ultra-modern fighting machine.
To the untrained eye, it looks a bit of a mess. I mean, we've got a lot of ventilation here. This is due to the painting, and we're extracting fumes to keep the fumes away. And of course, we're doing hot work as well, where they fit new valves into the 29 bulkhead up here, which a lot of hot work goes on. So you have to watch what you're doing with painting and hot work so you don't get explosive mixtures in the atmosphere. So there's a lot of vent hoses, and that's what all these hoses are here. The cables themselves, the units are stripped out, the cables are checked and run through, and basically say you preserve them, tally them up ready so you know where they go back, so the jigsaw all marries up at the hinder end.
The pride of the workmen in the Scottish Yard is self-evident, but there is also great urgency. Deadlines have to be kept, and not just for the massive rebuild programme. The crew are about to come under intense pressure.
Emergency station.
The new Superb will be unlike anything these men have ever had to crew, and that includes Commanding Officer John Humphreys.
We do things by rote. So these guys will react in accordance with emergency operating procedures and make the boat safe. The training that we're doing at the moment is part of a process designed to bring us from novice stage with background experience into a submarine, out of a refit environment, which is 3 years alongside, not being at sea, and then in stages out to sea to do simple things and then do more complicated things until ultimately we can operate in any of the areas we're asked to operate. So the process starts with theoretical training, and the bit we're doing now is using some of the simulators that are available. If we make a mistake, it doesn't matter. It's a simulator, it doesn't cost £300 million every time you run aground.
Lower search, raise attack.
Lower search, raise attack.
Main pump is stop, fire safe, shut.
You have to surface the boat between 5 and 10 degrees bow, otherwise you do the old flip of the dolphin routine. Straight back down and we all die. What we're training these guys to do is react to emergencies to a certain point, and the point is getting the submarine in a known and safe condition.
Petty Officer Perrin has made the long trip to Rosyth from Plymouth. For him, it's like getting a first glimpse of the new car that's been ordered with a whole range of extras and refinements. Reggie has served mostly on T-class submarines. At under 100 metres in length, Superb is not big, especially when it's jammed full of high-tech equipment and a skilled crew. But compared to what he's been used to, the refitted sonar room is big.
Wow. This is unbelievable, the size of this compartment.
Compared with the other?
Compared with all the other submarines I've had. I'm a bit taken back for words at the moment for the amount of room that we've got in here. I've now walked into the junior 8's mess. How many's in this mess altogether? 60. 60 blokes got to share this room. Obviously they won't all be here at the same time. There will always be some on watch. This will be what is known as the officer's 5 berth. You get more junior officers in here because there's no ensuite. There's no sink in here, so they have to go through to use the other one. There's only one way out, and you've got to reverse. Life on a submarine.
A lot of people think that being in a submarine must be claustrophobic. In my 20-odd years in submarines, I've only ever met one true claustrophobe, and he had to be medically removed. As far as I know, he's still serving. He now serves in general service in ships. A lot of people would have coffin dreams. They lie in their bed at night and wake up panicking just because of the closeness of their environment. And that's all part of living in submarines. A lot of people suffer from that. That doesn't make them claustrophobes, that makes them 99 out of 100 rather than 1 out of 100.
That's all one person gets, is that in there. Put all his kit in. And we're going to have little bags fitted underneath the bunks to put anything extra in as well. Not a lot.
That's your egg. Don't touch it, Michael, because it's very hot.
For Gail Perrin and the family, Reggie's trip to Scotland will be the first of many separations.
I find it hard, obviously, because it's basically like being a single mother all the time when Dave's not here, which I am used to now, but it can be difficult depending on what's going on at the time, but especially if one of them are ill or anything. And if it's anything reasonably serious, it can be, you know, obviously worrying, but it's worse when you haven't got your husband there to support you and to help you.
This will be my main compartment when I'm at sea. I'll be sat in here controlling the sonar that's going on, feeding the command with all the information. Because when we actually dived, we are the eyes and ears of the submarine in this compartment in here.
Was it a bit of a shock ending up in Rosyth?
Total. But that's life in the blue suit, as they say in the Navy. It's my first time I've had a draft out of area, so I can't complain too much. I tried to wriggle out of it, but not too hard. Married, wife, I've left my wife down in Plymouth with 2 children. She's accepted the fact. I'm lucky I've got a strong wife who can put up with that. I'm only going to be away for a while. That's what I've told her anyway.
Merchantman, dead ahead. Go deep, go deep, go deep. Get safe depth. Safe depth. Down all masts. Shut bulkhead doors. Man compartment blows. Brace, brace, brace.
We're taking a team that has never been before together and asking them to put a submarine that's been parked alongside for 3 years in a challenging environment. There is still so much that could go wrong, so consistency is my biggest concern.
Watchdown 2, submarine return to periscope deck.
Right, the only failure is that we're about 1 million miles off course, aren't we? I'm going to cut the drill short slightly, so it's an early tea break. Yahoo! Yahoo! Exit. Good.
While many of the crew will be coming to Superb fresh, some of the senior members of the complement have seen the massive project all the way through its long 3.5 years. Coxswain Paul Kennel is one. He would much rather be at sea than alongside, and now that the time is coming for completion, the pressure and the paperwork is mounting.
It can be quite mundane until you actually start getting more people joining the boat and start crewing up, and then get into sort of the last 6 months, and then you've got the big push of getting moved back on board and getting everybody into the different mentality that you are actually going to sail, and you've got the sea trials and then the work-up stage to get stuck into. So at the end of the day, it's a lot better to be on the boat and then away than it is stuck in refit.
Second rank only. 1 pace forward, march.
An ordeal for any member of the senior service is the parade. In this case, it's 24 hours away from the rededication ceremony when Superb is officially accepted back into the Royal Navy.
Right. Dress.
It's a running joke in the other 2 services that sailors cannot march. They know only too well themselves. They even wear their boots out trying during rehearsals. But for submariners, it's doubly hard.
Go! General salute! Reset!
There's not much room for drill practice in the cramped 272 feet of a hunter-killer class submarine. The captain knows that the top brass will be watching closely, so a few prayers are quietly spoken that all goes well. Well, better than rehearsals anyway. The boots still need spit and polish, and on the morning of the ceremony, Superb is still a hive of activity. Like all major projects that have a deadline, there comes a time when the urgency takes on a momentum all of its own.
A great submarine tradition is that it looks an absolute pot mess until right up to the end. There'll be various times when all will look to be totally lost, totally disorganised. But there is a plan. And 99 times out of 100 we achieve the aim. In this case, the company were the ones pulling things to bits frantically, cleaning them, putting them back together, laying the walkways to disguise the fact that actually they're still doing work on board the submarine, so that it looked good, so that it felt good. And you use it all the time available to you. Yeah, it always feels difficult, and that's one of the difficult things of being in my position. You just have to let the blokes get on with it and trust them. Every now and again you give a steer, but they're all good blokes and they know what they're doing.
The Navy has to accept all the work that's been done over the 42 months by Babcock Industries Group before the boat can be called HMS.
The great thing about Superb is that there is a great feeling of corporate ownership. There isn't a them and us. So the company, the Ministry of Defence, agencies on site and the ship's company all want the same thing, and that's important.
In the pre-harbour inspection, everything is checked one last time. The government has spent £200 million of our money on the boat's refit. Every penny has to be signed for. But this isn't just an accountant's exercise. Only when the inspectors are satisfied can the next phase of Superb's voyage back into the fleet begin.
The top of a bin. It's put there so that we can find it, of course. Did we pass the test? Yes. There you go. Can I have the £5 now, please? If it goes wrong, it will be a disaster. If we have overlooked something, if somebody picks something up and the company turn around and say, OK, I'm going to need time to fix that, then that will have a direct impact on my sailing date. And I would not be happy about that.